I've been thinking a lot lately about the twilight zone. That time between waking and sleeping, also called the hypnagogic state. In the twilight zone period between waking and sleeping, we seem to be able to encounter beings that we cannot see in the waking state. Ghosts, shadowy figures, old hags, alien-looking beings, these are all seen during the sleep paralysis state. Throughout history, people have told tales of old hags and other scary entities that they see in sleep paralysis. What disturbs most people is that they are paralyzed and unable to move, but their consciousness is wide awake. They are able to see the room clearly, even though their eyes are closed. I have had some interesting and scary Twilight Zone visitations or encounters, and I will tell you about two of them. One of the more recent ones happened as I was starting to have an out-of-body experience. I was almost asleep in my bed when I became lucid and aware that an out-of-body experience was coming on. I could feel my energy vibrating rapidly, a clear sign of an OBE. Then I felt myself moving upward, and I was propelled into the dark atmosphere far above my house. But this was different from other out-of-body experiences I've had, because I started seeing faces in front of me. The faces switched rapidly from one face to another. Faces of strangers, all human, were rapidly appearing in front of me. One wore a white turban, but there were many faces. They were not smiling or angry, they were just moving swiftly by. I wondered who they were and why I was seeing them during an out-of-body experience. I felt someone to my right, and I looked to see an alien being standing over me. I realized I was no longer in the atmosphere, but back in my bed. It had 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head on a torso. But that was where the similarities to humans ended. The arms appeared really skinny, almost stick-like. His head, neck, and body were all the same color, a dark mass of brown, lumpy flesh. The face, if it could be called that, had no recognizable features. I couldn't see any eyes, nose, or mouth. His head was a bumpy mess. It reminded me of tree bark or dried caked-on mud. The scary being just stood there and looked down at me. He was on the right side of the bed, so I knew that he could not be a solid being. My bed is up next to the wall, so he would have been standing in the wall. I immediately became fearful and tried to move, but I couldn't. I tried to yell out, but I couldn't. I was still in sleep paralysis. In my mind, I was yelling at him, saying, "Who are you? What are you doing in my house?" The scary being just stood there and stared down at me. Or at least its head was pointed down toward me. I can't say I saw any eyes, so I can only guess that it was looking at me. I must have been struggling, because suddenly my cat jumped up on the bed. He plopped his body down on my chest and started licking my face. His presence brought me out of the twilight zone, and I woke up. And immediately, the being was gone. I think maybe it was just curious about what I was. This is just one encounter I've had with scary beings during sleep paralysis. As scary as they are, I know that they can't really hurt me. This Twilight Zone experience took place a couple of months ago, and it happened over 3 consecutive nights. I was laying in bed sleeping when I became lucid and aware that I was in sleep paralysis. I could see my bedroom clearly, but could not move. Right away, I saw 3 entities in my bedroom doorway. They were in darkness, and I couldn't make them out. I felt a level of animosity coming from them that I didn't like. I became afraid and was able to pull myself out of the sleep paralysis. It bothered me a bit, but I let it go. I have encountered scary beings during sleep paralysis before and have never been hurt by them. The next night, however, it happened again. In the hypnagogic state, I found myself lucid and conscious again, with my body still asleep. Once again, I saw the 3 beings standing by the door of my bedroom. I couldn't tell if they were male or female because they wore long black cloaks. They stood there in the doorway, not moving or entering into the room. Once again, I was able to pull myself out of the sleep paralysis. I began to wonder if they were trying to get me a message or a warning. On the 3rd night, to my surprise, it happened again. Once again, I found myself conscious in the twilight state. And from my bed, once again, I saw the same 3 entities standing in the doorway. I couldn't understand why they kept coming to my bedroom in the middle of the night. Again, I became afraid and tried to move, but could not. After a bit of struggling, I was able to wake myself out of the twilight state. And of course, they were not there anymore. I decided I needed to view these as real entities who were coming to visit me for some reason. I said a prayer to Soa, source of all, and asked my guardian spirits to protect me. I asked that the entities be able to communicate with me if they were here to help me. And I asked that they be removed from my house if they were here to hurt me. I said that prayer over and over a couple of times during the day. And that night, nothing happened. I slept through the entire night, undisturbed. And that was the last that I saw of those beings. Those are just some of the Twilight Zone encounters that I've had throughout my life. If you have had encounters during the Twilight state, I would love to hear about them. Please like and subscribe if you like this content, and hit the notification bell. Have a wonderful day in this strange paranormal world we live in.